Thanks.
Happy, happy, joy, joy.
Mm-hmm. It was a Ren and Stimpy dance. It'd be like, you hold, you hold on to hands and then you go happy, happy, joy, joy, and kick out like kind of like side leprechaun kick.
Oh, that's good.
That was really good.
So you know what this does to your stomach in terms of this is acidic, what happens in our stomach?
Basic? It helps alkalize it? Or...
Correct. Let's go on camera.
Okay.
Buenos dias, bonjour, guten tag. We are here to share with you, Sifu Slim and Super C, some messages from our morning. So we.
Ni hao.
What do we have here? A concoction.
I think it's lemon, cinnamon, cannelle, the water.
And orange.
And
so
orange.
I squeezed up with my tight wrist grips because I exercise these things every day. I cut and squeeze instead of using machinery this morning lemons, and then I cut out the lemons out after I was done squeezing, put them in the jar. Glass is good. Why is glass good? Because stainless steel, the other thing people think is good, has nickel in it, and I don't know if it's going to get you, but there are some people who say that nickel is something we don't want. So glass is the best thing. Ceramic would also be good, but it's very expensive and it's heavy, and you don't want to carry that around with you. These are easy, they don't tip. So if you do coffee, which I don't advise, put your coffee in here. And in your car, what happens when you're going down the New Jersey Turnpike? Nothing. It tips and you're okay. How's the drink?
Oh, it's very nice. I'm surprised like it would alkalize because there's the lemon, but I guess I don't know, how does that work?
Our body system is always going back to homeostasis, and so when we throw a healthy piece of acid in there, which this drink is, it goes in there and our body says, okay, lower the acidity, and that's what it does.
Okay, that's
and so our body's really good at that.
Okay.
And so this is what we're drinking today. Not teas, not coffees. So for those of you who want to try this, get yourself some good filtered water, in glass preferably. Cut up some oranges, lemons, grapefruits. Less on the orange. Orange has more sugar, which would lead to more acidity. But today I put some oranges because I have an abundance of oranges, so I'm using oranges, which the hunter-gatherers, what did they do when it was fruit season?
They went gathering.
They gorged.
Forage, yeah.
They gorged, just like the bears. When they find a berry patch, they eat till there are no berries left. Anything
you save it. You know, you can do a little food processing, a little bit of like botanical processing, dry.
Do you think bears would save it?
Well, no, not bears, but hunter-gatherers were smart about food and ways to dry or process or keep for later. You know, you could keep it for later.
Unless one gatherer had a greedy streak and didn't tell anybody about the bush and ate all the things, and then came back and had stomach disorder.
That's true.
So did we have a hunter-gatherer-esque morning?
Well, we went out and exposed ourselves to the elements, and I don't think we were gathering a whole lot this morning, but we definitely just were very mobile this morning.
I did save from our last gathering, which
beautiful.
is explain what this is again.
That's cedar. Cedar brings in positive energy. So if you sniff it, it smells lovely. But so one of like the four major like Native American medicines used in a lot of different ceremony, and like it's kind of to move your energy, but you know, running can move your energy too. And I definitely felt a bit like euphoric, like they talk about. Sifu has talked about the Tarahumara running on euphoria, and it's definitely true. You feel great, you feel fabulous, and that's enough to just, you know, get you out there and keep you moving. You can kind of like get slightly addicted to it, possibly. I don't know if you can, if that type of addiction's bad, though.
Yeah, I think it's something that you feel so good about that you want to do more of it. It's like intimacy. When intimacy is good, you want to do more of it, and the more you do, the better at it you get.
Yeah.
The more comfortable you are with it. It's not something that you take out time from your busy day. It's something you want to do, and you want to do more of it. So hallelujah. So here I have a piece of, speaking of native craftsmanship from the southern areas, and I've had this for many years, and it's very heavy. You want to feel how heavy that is? It's incredible, and I believe it's made out of wood, but it's a very hard wood.
Petrified almost.
Yeah, it feels like a petrified wood. And I currently drawing a blank on where I got this. It might have been from Morocco, but I've had it for quite some time. And so this guy is one of the icons. I was going to put this out and give it to somebody else, but now that I'm seeing it, I think I'm going to keep it. It's been with me for a while, and it's not very large, so I will keep it. I'm putting things in storage right now, and I'm going on a journey, as many people do these days, trying to accomplish something. So there's one piece of native. And then what I'm doing now on a very practical side, and I've been doing this for a long time, but instead of wearing socks, I am going I am going barefoot in the sneakers today. Sometimes I wear the Vibram, sometimes I go bare feet, but today there's a lot of downhill pounding, so I wore the sneakers, and I'm running on silk. It's baby powder, which is not talc. I disagree that you would want talc. You would want cornstarch, which is a plant, of course, and it's calming. It's got lavender and chamomile in there, so hallelujah for that. And this stuff, you put this in your shoes, and you're running on silk, and it absorbs things. And
I bet you don't get blisters with that.
Not as long as you don't
get that wet, or
not as long as there's powder in there. So you know, depending on how long you go and how sweaty your feet get and how moist it is out there. If you're running through grass on the East Coast where I grew up, it's pretty moist. And then another little thing I found in my car, these are my friends at Zumo, and they do drumming music, and they put out these CDs. So if you want to go native in your humble abode, you can buy fun, earthy, chanting, drumming type things and get into your own mindset of being in a trance. What do you have to say about that?
Trance is, there's a lot, trance you can do healing. It's a form of healing amongst the Dobeju, or the Sankang, some people call them the Bushmen. It's kind of very similar to what people in yoga will say is Kundalini, raising that like energy through the spine. But they call it Umbalini, or that's the South African, Southern Bantu type of term, Umbalini, and it's kind of like raising your own immunity, raising your own like inner heat and fire. They call it Ngom. And yes, dancing is part of it. Dancing, drumming, movement, rhythm, freedom of movement is and the expression that goes with it is. Some people will think it's kind of a noumenal type, like it's not phenomenon, it's like a subjective spirit that you feel of sorts, but it's very important for healing, and a lot of like our illnesses are psychosomatic that way, drawing on our emotions or depleting our emotions or our spirit, and so they really take that seriously when you're doing trance, and so, yeah.
So I brought along a rock. I didn't actually run with this rock, but I found this behind us today, and I use these things in exercise. I do a step up on a bench height, and you hold this, and then as you go up the bench, you press it up and extend all the way up. So it would be like step up and then go like that, and then put your lower leg out, and that's functional training with strength, you know, with a press up. And so you have to keep your core and your balance during that entire exercise. And I do that 50 times with this big rock, and then take a break, and then do it another 50 times. And let me tell you, this is fabulous. So for all you people out there doing squats, trying to get bigger, stronger, and faster, the first thing you want to do is get fit and well and get your functional strength. And you never leave. All the athletes do functional training, you know, several days a week, sometimes every day, baseball players, skiers, etc. And this is one of the exercises that is highly recommended, the step up with the press up, because you're keeping your balance. It's a full body exercise. But I'm holding this in my hand because I want to show you. So if you people out there in YouTube land, take your hand like this, and now that's your spine and your neck holding your head. So you can hold a shot put or a rock for a fair amount of time in that position. Now what happens to people when they go to the laptop and the iPhone is they tilt their head forward. How long can you hold a rock? I have to use two hands. How long can you hold it out of balance? No, you could do a shot put in your hand and try to hold the shot put in this angle. You won't be able to hold it very long. You'll start trembling and you'll fatigue. And that's what we're asking our neck to do. Our neck's supposed to be here. At times it's supposed to be here, but not for 8 hours a day on a laptop. So what do you have to say about the life of the people in the desk potato world?
Well, definitely, yes, everything starts moving forward. Even the beer belly phenomenon, I think, is related to kind of moving forward. But I personally think to have a really good freedom of movement or life, like it's helpful to have your chest up, lift the chest. Like there's a bit of pride and dignity in that. That's helpful for your posture. I think I really like to do the wheel, that back bend where you press your chest up. I think it makes you more resilient, being able to bend over backwards for other people at times. And I know that seems like too much of a stretch, but if you do the wheel and you have this like type of thing that pulls your orientation up and over a little bit, it's kind of brings you into a more supernatural type of being. I used to have really, really great posture, and I have moved forward in my life recently because I'm trying
academia.
Yes, academia, and working on some messages I want to get out there, some writing, some editing, film, and things like that. And it reorients me. It alters my orientation, association structure in the world just by like being down and communing with the screen. Like I have too much face time with the screen and not enough like with friends or the wider world. So you have to like reactivate your posture and get out there again and again to counterbalance that kind of forward slouch.
So we are not meant, because of the way our nuchal ligament works, the ligament that holds us up, like a giraffe and a cow have these big cables going from their back all the way to the tip of their head, and they can hold up all of that heavy leverage. Now we don't have a long neck, but still over time, if you just go like this and you put your hand on top of your head and pull down a little bit, you'll see very, very short time you'll be so fatigued you won't be able to handle that pressure anymore. So we're not designed to be down there. Now somebody talked to me just yesterday about why I don't text and why I don't smartphone, because it's this new thing that's become a sensation, and it's an addicting sensation. And I saw the report just yesterday when he was, accusing me of being behind the times in smartphone use, that people on average do 4 to 6 minutes each time that they go down to it. That's the average. And then they do it 40 to 60 times a day. So they're on that thing down 3 to 5 hours per day. Now that's a lot of time to be looking down and just checking in with friends. Now I like to check in with friends, but not every 15 minutes or every hour and a half. I mean, I have things I want to do for myself and the planet and the universe. So what do you think about the whole smartphone sensation?
Well, it's pulls you into a different reality. Like they call it a different plane of reception, virtual reality, where your friends are far away and you're keeping up with them. And that's an overextension of you and your reality and your grounding here. So I think, it seems good, it seems exciting, especially when we're feeling kind of isolated by our own writing, our digital workplace type jobs.
It connects us.
Yeah, like those are the connections, but like the quality, we got to remember the quality of connections, like because we're talking about big data and quantity and like all the number of likes and friends and things like you have, but where's the quality in that? And I think it's really sensation being replaced by calculation with these algorithms, and the digital format is taking us away. What is the quality? What is the root of quality? Is a qualia. It comes from our senses, perception, and anything where you're losing touch, taste, or smell, especially. You get audio visuals right here, for instance, but anywhere where you're not getting touch, taste, and smell, you're not really getting a full quality experience anymore. So, like, yes, you may have a connection, but is it like a full sensory connection? Because that's what life is meant to be. Like, humans have these organs of sense to make sense of our world, to think through, to give meaning to our world. And so if you really want quality life, try to keep all those senses engaged in each connection to give meaning to our world. And so if you really want quality life, try to keep all those senses engaged in each connection that you have.
Which is why I love books, because the books is a tactile sensation. And I have that book during the time that I'm reading it, and I'm kind of connected to it in a very significant way. So I'm on page 188, and maybe I want to reference something that's on page 133, and so I put a little mark in there, and then I go back and I reference it. The other thing I like about it, versus the television, which is what I grew up with, people watching television, and then the remote control came out. So a remote control, you can watch people at a gathering, and you see this, you know, when people are sleeping over at Thanksgiving, you can see the people who are staying up late at night that are almost out on their feet, but they're on the couch and they can still keep flipping that channel remote. And that could be until 2 in the morning, and that's not good for a lot of people, especially when tomorrow's an active day with all these family activities and eating and walking and what have you. So, but a book, it's fatiguing. So you're up at night, let's say you're in bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock, you have to hold that thing up. It's not like you can be a zombie and read a book. A book, you have to pay attention, you have to turn page, and you have to hold it up. And if it's a big book, it's a lot harder to hold up. So eventually you're going to put that thing down and go to sleep, whereas the remote, historically, you can see people that are zombied out who are still occasionally waking up and flipping the channel to something else, because even when I grew up, eventually in the 80s, there were almost an unlimited number of channels, and now of course there are an unlimited number of channels. Your thoughts on going to sleep and reading and books and
Well,
things?
the thing about the remote, I have to go back to the remote and stuff, and this is really what's actually happening also with the internet. The phenomenon of kind of like the way you go to the refrigerator and you don't know what you want, and then you just start grazing. That's what's been going on with our getting sucked into the internet or even television and the remote, is that you don't go in actively knowing I'm going to make this, I'm interested in this, and I'm only going to eat so much, and you don't have any limitations or specifications on what it is you're going for. So that's why I don't like just information in general. When I read books, I read them very actively. I often will take notes. I'm trying to chew through ideas, and so I actually choose very chewy books that I can really think through or work through and activate my mental digestion of sorts. So I actually don't read a lot of light books, or even when I'm reading something that's fiction, I'm thinking about story structure and things like that.
You're analyzing it.
Yeah, I analyze it a little bit, but I can definitely enjoy it. But then I also go back and halfway and pause and be like, why did I enjoy that, or what did they do there? Because sometimes I want to write in a fiction format myself too, and use some of those same techniques. So I like to be an active reader because I'm a writer, and I like to write for people as well too. So I think about how they're writing it, and it's another form of communication, just like conversation can be an art. Reading and writing can be an art of sorts too.
So Super C has been busy since the last run about a week ago, and you got in one run.
Yeah, I think I got one run to the beach.
But that was your only major physical activity since the last time?
Yes, I also made homemade pizza on Tuesday, and last night it was German chocolate cake, because we did have birthday parties coming up. So I at least it's very homemade. It's very, very good, natural ingredients, but they were kind of heavy type foods, I will admit.
So for the next several months, we're not going to be doing these. So today I said, Super C, this is a blessing that I give to you, that was given to me a long time ago, that movement is yours to be had, and that all of your responsibilities and challenges in life, you can't handle them as well unless you're taking care of yourself. And if you start out with the physical, you get that done. I call it getting it out of the way. It's kind of fun, because it's hard. We ran up a hill today, and I was sluggish at one point of that hill, and then we came down and I was rejuvenated. But that's hard, some of it, and you get that out of the way, and so for the rest of the day you can go about your daily responsibilities and enjoyment, and it's already done, and there's no getting till next week going, oh, I have to do that again, because it's just a gift that you have every day. What do you think about factoring this into a daily routine?
Like it's a gift for myself?
Yeah,
or
freedom of movement. That's
yes,
what we're talking about.
I do believe in freedom of movement, and you do have to just take it. It's like we used to, a feminist movement would be like, reclaim the streets, or activists would be like, reclaim the streets, or reclaim something that's your birthright. Movement is a birthright, not to be settled or domesticated or things like that. So yeah, it's just a matter of I haven't put the limitations or specifications on it for myself yet, because I'm still learning how to be discerning about running. For me, it was sort of my moment to meditate and to kind of calm out, be just kind of peaceful. Like I would take running as a meditation, but when we do it this way, like starting with a hill, you have to be activated.
After what though? We didn't start with a hill. We did a whole.
We did stretching.
Exercise.
I'm just saying that like I kind of appreciate the energy that gets moved when you do it very actively versus like my kind of like whenever I can fit it in, I go out the door and it's always the meditative. I never take hills. I actually avoid hills usually, and and actually I'm problematically too. If the music like calms down for a little bit, slows down, sometimes my running starts to like go down a little bit. So you have to be kind of like, you know, vigilant and active about it. Like that's a new philosophy for me, and that's the blessing you're giving me, I think, to be more activated about it.
Yeah. Well, we could have gone to the beach today, but I was at the beach yesterday, and all of our runs have been hill runs, so I wanted to maintain that once a week hill run, because it's a big challenge that I do once a week, is to do that hill run. So freedom of movement, our birthright, and being disconnected to it. The poor people who are in the cubicles and may have long days and then commuting on the way home. How do you handle life when that is because of your financial commitments, etc., and that's the job you've been given? And it's not easy to switch jobs, you know, and when you've got one with benefits and the people you like at the work, and now you're stuck in this cubicle, what are some thoughts that you have to allow those people to gain some freedom and movement?
Well, a lot of, I think startups are really doing this now. They're kind of like building in more ritual to the organizational structure, so that like people might come and do a little bit of yoga together, or a little bit of just like health conscious, like come together and say, what is our organizational culture? Like we care about health, and if we're not getting to the gym, what can we do together for maybe like 5 minutes? And that's really where like sometimes you need an outsider coach to come in and kind of facilitate, because it's a collective choreography. But I've done that a little bit with my organization, like where we were starting in the middle of August, it was getting very hot and things like that, and I just brought in what I thought to be cooling type of food, seaweed. Let's stop and have some seaweed. Or we would break in the middle of, we started doing the tea rituals. Like it's just about getting up and moving and talking, and when you start talking and having these social engagements, that gets you out of the routine rut of sorts. And you can do that with physical stuff as well. I think you could just, I've seen in the startup, some people will get those big bouncy balls, or they'll, like for instance, we also would take time to walk out and go talk to people during Fiesta. Santa Barbara has a beautiful Fiesta. We brought some of the like confetti eggs into our office, and like, you know, try to
carnival at the office.
Yeah, it's exactly. I think the best thing is when you try to like see how important ritual is. It's the meaning of movement, the freedom of movement, and the way that like you can choose to just break away for, like, yes, your work might be there, that's your duty, your vocation might be happening there, but you can obviously choose to like get up and move around and break out of the silos, actually, of like, I'm my one type of worker, I'm an expert here, and I don't talk to the other expert right over there. But that type of holistic work or thinking is actually really, really important for today's really complex problems or innovations, if that's what the type of field you're in. You got to like break through the conventional thinking by talking to other people. Like if I'm an expert in biology and you're an expert in art or something like that, then actually the most beautiful, unique combinations are hybrid. They're like counterposed type of thinking that actually like challenges you and really pushes you and refines. Yeah.
And blesses you. And that's what we're giving you this morning. Sifu Slim and Super C, allowing you freedom of movement. It's your birthright, and it's a blessing. And it's been given to us this lovely morning, and we hope we have it again tomorrow, and sharing more messages with you. And we'd love to hear your feedback on the YouTube channel. You want to say namaste?
Namaste, Majita.